Hello, everybody. It's Mrs. Pound, and this is the third video for Chapter 22 on internal transport. We are still talking about the circulatory system. This will be the last video about the circulatory system. Our objectives for today will be to describe the different functions of arteries, veins, and capillaries, and to summarize the different circulations in the body. So first, let's talk about blood vessels and circulations. So blood vessels. There are three types of blood vessels we're going to talk about. They are the arteries, which carry blood away from the heart. I always remember artery and away start with the same letter. That's how I keep it straight. And veins carry blood to the heart. Perhaps we can remember that the letter V looks kind of like an arrow, and it's kind of like Cupid shooting arrows at the heart, going to the heart. And in between the arteries and the veins are capillaries. These are tiny vessels that connect arteries to veins. So we can see in this picture an artery over here, a vein over here, and then there are capillaries in the middle that surround all of the cells. So every cell in your body is touching a capillary. And the reason for that is because capillaries are where diffusion of glucose, waste products, and oxygen occurs. So in order to efficiently do that for the cells, every cell has to be touching a capillary. So the paths of circulation, there are different kind of routes in your body. You can think of your circulatory system as highways, okay, and roads and everything. So there are different routes the blood can take. One is the pulmonary circulation. This is circulation of blood to and from the lungs. Remember I said in a previous video, I believe it was the last video, pulmonary always means lung. Systemic circulation carries oxygen nutrients to the body tissues and removes carbon dioxide and waste from the tissues. So systemic circulation goes everywhere through your whole system. Coronary circulation supplies the myocardium with oxygen. Now, the myocardium is the heart muscle, basically, the main part of the heart muscle. And so whenever we see coronary, that also always means heart. Renal circulation is circulation of blood into and out of the kidneys. Renal, always, whenever you hear renal, it always means has to do with your kidneys. So if you hear that somebody has had renal failure, it is on dialysis, that means their kidneys are not working. And then there is portal circulation. This carries food-rich blood to the liver. So portal has to do with the liver. Now let's talk about pulse and blood pressure. You've probably all found your pulse before. Maybe you're doing it right now in your neck area, okay? Or you can find your pulse on your wrist, and we'll be doing that in class. So your pulse is the dilating and rebounding of an artery as blood is pumped through it. So with each of those pumps, it adds some pressure. So when there's pressure added, the artery gets a little bigger and then it relaxes again. So with each heartbeat, each pump, it dilates, it relaxes. Blood pressure is the pressure of the blood against artery walls. So when that happens, there is pressure put on the arteries. The blood pressure against the walls of the arteries increases when the heart beats, which causes the arteries to expand and enables the feeling of the pulse. That's why, remember we talked about the systole and the diastole? There is a systolic and a diastolic pressure. So when the heart is contracting and when the heart is relaxing. High blood pressure is caused by the heart having to work harder to push adequate amounts of blood through partially closed, inelastic blood vessels. So when a person has high blood pressure, commonly the causes are that plaques have built up due to cholesterol in their arteries. And also there are diseases that can harden the blood vessels that make them more inelastic and will also raise blood pressure. So our objectives for this video were to describe the different functions of arteries, veins, and capillaries and to summarize the different circulations in the body. Don't forget your 5 questions. We're done with the circulatory system. We're now going to be talking about immunity and the excretory system to finish the chapter.